when you're crocheting, you always ignore the loop that's on your hook. That doesn't count, all right? So when they're talking about going into loops and stitches and stuff, completely ignore the yarn that's on your hook. So we're not going to miss this one, going to miss this one. We're going to go into this third chain. And this will be our first stitch. This is called, now, very helpfully, in America and Britain, they have different terminology for things. I'm going to use the terminology that I was taught. So this is a half treble crochet, which is dumb, but there we go. So put the yarn over. Also, people hold their hooks in different ways. Some people can hold it like a pen and it looks quite dainty. I hold it like a shovel or something. But yarn over. And then this hook we're going to put through, not in here, but in this third loop. So you poke it through and you can see now we've got yarn on top, yarn on the bottom. So you're just through that shape. And then once it's through, this yarn goes over your hook and you pull it through. So it's literally poking it through, putting a yarn on it and pulling it through. So you're going to have 3 loops on your hook, yarn on the hook again. Now this is the bit that is tricky at first. It's just getting it through it, because you're not going to trust yourself holding the tension of the yarn, and it's likely to be kind of quite wobbly and all over the place, to be honest with you. All of mine were. Took me a good sort of while. That's why we've got extra yarn for practicing. So that's our first stitch, and it'll look very sideways at the moment, but when I've done a couple, they'll start to stand up. And the reason why we missed out those 2 chains at the beginning is because that actually gives us the height. So it sort of pulls it up, and then we're kind of coming in here. So yarn over, poke it through the chain, yarn over, pull it back through, have 3 loops, yarn over, and pull it all through. So we'll do that until the end of the row. Yarn over, poke it through, yarn over, and you might find it helpful to turn the hook so that it's pointed down as you're coming through, and then turn it back up to catch the yarn, turn it over to pull it through. Don't stress out if your hook gets caught on any of these loops as you're going through. It happens all the time. You just got to give it a wiggle. You might find when you've been making your chain, because I tend to do them quite tight, if it's quite really tricky to get your hook through and then pull it through, when you're doing your chains, you might want to do them with a slightly larger hook. But I find that I'm all right doing it the same now. So we're going to come to the end. And what I'm doing now is I'm making the swatch that I'm going to send out to you guys, or have sent out to you guys, depending on when we are watching this video. And we're going to do a little 10 by 10 square, essentially. So this is our last one. So we pull it through. There we go. Now, doesn't look like much at the moment, but this will eventually be a square. This is our first row of stitches.